Hi, I'm Tommy, and we have another exciting episode of What the Creator. I have a friend of mine here, Bankshot.
Yeah, what's going on, Tommy?
What's going on, man? I've been looking forward to this episode.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. It seems like what the culture podcast is popping, and so I'm honored that I've been asked to be a part of it.
I
So what
appreciate
is
you
this?
reaching out.
We at episode 5 or
Yes, this will be my fifth What the Creator.
we're going
Yeah, I got
major.
yes.
We'll
And
pop.
last year I
Oh, go
did
ahead.
one. Last year I did one episode. I've already done four this year.
And we popping. I'm popping Dr. I don't know if that's a celebratory drink. It's my celebratory drink.
I got some water with you. I got some.
That's the ASMR for the Dr. Pepper. Pop champagne if you're in the crowd or whatever your favorite thing is, but be safe,
Yeah,
moderation.
drink Dr. Pepper responsibly.
I don't know. I'm like the Fansville. I don't know if you ever like watch the football. Oh yeah, because you talk about sports on those, like especially the
Yeah.
college, the Dr. Pepper Fansville people. They need to hire me. All right, sponsorship.
Yes, sponsor Bankshot. Oh yeah, I'll be posting his card in the show notes. So if you got after the episode, if you guys want to reach out, find him, listen to his music, you can find
That's
all of
right.
that on his card.
I do music. I do a few things. I'm all over the place.
Do you do you offer flights yet to the public? You could even take a
So
flight with him. You could even take.
I mean, technically, I guess if you talk to the right people. So for those that don't know, I guess I'll formally introduce myself. I am Bankshot, is what most people would call me. In real life, I am a pilot. Um, uh, uh, Low time still, but working on some bigger airplanes and moving on up in the world. But for many years, I have done hip hop music. I'm from New Orleans, and that has been under the stage name of Bankshot. Tommy and I have met through a streaming service called Twitch, to where my name on that is actually Flyrish, which stands for Flying Irish. And it's been an interesting kind of confusing thing that we have done, because I go by two different names depending on where you find me from. And a lot of people have been curious, like, why not just go with Bankshot? It's actually funny, is when I started streaming, I hate numbers in my name, and the Bankshot username was already taking. But I didn't want to be like under Bankshot Music or Bankshot Gaming, because I didn't want to like brand under one thing.
Right.
So if you were ever to come to my stream, it's very aviation themed, like as far as like my overlays and everything like that. So we went with Flyrish as like a sub entity of Bankshot in general. So does it make the most sense? Absolutely not. Terrible marketing. Don't follow my strategy, ladies and gents. But that is what has happened.
Yeah, you have two different personas. You got the Bankshot and the Flourish.
It kind of acts that way, really, too. Like Bankshot is definitely like a very confident, like go getter, where Flyrish is kind of more of the humble, friendly person. A lot of people don't like to approach Bankshot as much as they like to approach Flyrish. It is
Actually,
interesting.
I actually think that's kind of cool. Like you can turn it on to two different personas when you're doing those two different things.
Right. And then I have my, professional real life persona that I have to put on when I'm flying. And it's like, it's weird because, not that pilots don't necessarily have lives, right? But most pilots probably don't rap.
Yeah.
Per se. And I know that the FAA likes, and all these major airliners, they like to like background check you a whole lot. So we don't, on like my professional side of things, me flying or me rapping does not actually appear too much. You really have to find like my creators, accounts to really know anything about those.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why. This is embarrassing. Can you see me? It looks like my camera froze.
You have a perfect still. This
Oh,
is
okay, okay.
He's not moving, but the Tommy album cover, ladies and gentlemen. This
Yes.
is Tommy's album cover.
This is it. Let me try something real quick.
It's what these fools talking about.
There we go. That'll work.
There you
There we
go. All right, that
Okay.
was just what
I'll
these
just
fools talking about, look.
you haven't dropped some bars on your passengers yet while you're flying? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm always on you because you see like the flight attendants or the pilots that like usually it's not bars really, but like they drop like the funny skits. You see that every
Yeah,
once
yeah.
in a while. And I know that on an airliner side, like the boss side of things, they don't really like that.
Yeah.
It's they don't really fight it if it's done correctly, because obviously then it's oh, look at this really cool United cap that fly United Airlines, because these are
Right.
our captains are like real people. So they don't take the bad press for sure. I've always wondered if I could pull it off, if I could come up with my own like, you know, flight safety briefing rap and throw that out there. But maybe I fly more on the corporate side. I don't fly airliners. It's not really my thing. So basically, it's like I'm a private pilot. That's not the correct term, but I think most general public would understand that if I said like I am a private pilot to a company or a singular person more than I fly for airliners. So maybe if I end up on like a right side of corporate where I got a cool boss, maybe I could spit some bars of it in flight.
Oh, by the way, speaking of album covers, when you said that was my album cover earlier, most generally everyone I showed said was like, "Why did you have to go so hard on your exposed album cover?" They all loved it when I showed everyone your album cover.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised the reaction from exposed, like on all angles, because let me be real, I have had some success in music. I know that there are a lot of rappers you could find, Joe Blows on the block. Hip hop has never necessarily been a hard genre to get into. I guess a little bit of background. I did at one point work paperwork for Con Live Distribution, which Con Live Distribution, if anyone is familiar with Akon and Convict Music, Con Live Distribution is their in-source distribution center, and they deal with like copyright shark licenses, mechanical licenses, things of that nature. So that's that was many, many, many years ago when Convict Music was actually notable, at least within American pop culture. And so I kind of learned distribution and things like there. I worked for a gentleman, or interned, I should say, that was an artist promoter. He's the only man to ever not own a radio record label or radio station and get an artist in the top 100 Billboard. He's only done it once, but he's the only man that ever done it once. And I interned for him for a little bit, so I learned a lot of business uh, stuff really kind of early on. With that said, you still have to be good for the business to actually matter. And so I've been able to like kind of work on my own music, write my own lyrics. I've never been able to make my own beats. I wish I had that skill set, but so none of the beats that you hear did I make, but I wrote all the lyrics that at least you hear my voice on, and I recorded it all on my own, and I mixed it all. And so I've learned how to distribute it on my own and kind of market it. And I've always had somewhat of success, but Expose definitely went a lot further than it was. And Expose is very interesting, especially I guess for this conversation where you're knowing me as both a rapper and a streamer, because Expose is actually, I don't want to say like a diss album, but it's definitely directed at a situation or inspired by a situation that happened through Twitch. And that's why the album cover had to go so hard, because it was like I had to send the message. I
Yeah.
had to show I was serious. But as we know, Twitch is Twitch. And I've been in business long enough to know that in anything much like a Twitch where your value kind of comes from the number of people that tune into you or pay attention to you, that you want to make your mark. You want to do what garners attention and things of that nature. Um, and I find when people are starting to get a sudden burst of attention in whatever it is, music, Twitch, Instagram, whatever the case may be, that um, some of the actions or things that they perceive as like business moves or whatever the case may be, are not necessarily the most correct moves in the world. And I guess there was a situation where that was happening where two people that I love dearly within Twitch were getting kind of that burst of, you know, that one was new to streaming, non-affiliate. One was, I think, affiliated on Twitch, and but just kind of hovering with the 2 to 3 viewers, which I think on Twitch to become affiliate you need like 50 follows, average at least so many people, over so many hours. So they've kind of hit their stride, they've hit their boost, and they were kind of like this team. They were doing super well, and
Yeah.
for all the right reasons, at least content wise. I just think some of the things behind the scenes were a little off, but there were a lot of the things that I see from a lot of people that start within business were mistakes that I made. And it kind of happened in a weird situation where um, the vibes were off between me and them, which is my fault. I actually want to very clearly say that the vibes being off between this disconnect that happened was my fault.
Yeah.
And I should have handled it more correctly. One person called me out of it in a Discord message, and my response was not the greatest in the world. Not necessarily was I wrong on my response on it or the things that I said, but my response um, delivery was incorrect and should have been handled more properly. And I really want to set that up for talking about expose and what it means and what's going on that it, especially within like this creator world. Um because the album means, I think, a whole lot to in a certain aspect of where I was in life. Because so what happened is shortly after the situation where I may have improperly responded to the situation, they go live on their now more popular show, and without necessarily fully calling out my name, but making it as obvious as possible, because a lot of their viewerships were people that they met through me at that time. Not saying that they could not have made their own viewership without me. They were very skilled streamers. They did not necessarily need me, but their burst of like viewerships did correlate through association with me. They essentially were like, yeah, this guy, Flyrish, they didn't say my name, but they're like one of the most toxic streamers. He's doing this. He's trying to this that whatever, and then tried to encourage people that were close to me to type things out or come on a microphone and say, you know, bad things about a person that may have done some of the things, trying to,
Yeah.
but specifically going like after like my mods on Twitch and whatnot.
Yeah. So they probably
And
didn't handle it the best way either, probably.
it was a okay. I improperly responded. I take that responsibility. And but was the punishment, worth of what the actions were? Is kind of what I was. And they twisted some things in what they said on the stream. Again, like kind of trying to bait people very close to me to say something. Um I was like, um looking back on it and looking at the messages that were sent back and forth between me and one of them, I was like, okay, could I understand you being upset with me? Sure, I can. Again, I don't think the things that I said in concept were wrong. I think my delivery was wrong. And I was like, so I could take that. So if maybe your response was in a private DMs or whatever, you say, you know what, we don't want to mess with you no more. We want to cut ourselves off from you because we don't like this relationship that we have anymore. Cool. Sad. That's life. That's mistakes that I make. I'm not perfect. And we move on from that, right? Or maybe I
Right.
try to find a way to reconcile, a chance of reconciliation, if you will.
Right.
Um, or just it was kind of like they took the situation and then they tried to use it to their advantage. And the thing is that in the situation too, like one of the reasons why my vibes were getting off was because there was a lot of people kind of like coming at me, like talking about things that they were doing, and it was all like because everyone kind of met them through me. Everyone was coming to me about like, well, they said this in like my stream or did this or did that, whatever. And so like I was kind of like bogged down with a bunch of things, and it's actually funny how those same people were then like in their chat or like afterwards like saying like, yeah, we took down the toxic guy, because I got quiet. I got really quiet afterwards because
Yeah.
there was people DMing me because they knew it was about me. They were like, some were concerned, they're like, what the heck is this? Some were like, how dare you do this to these two wonderful people? Whatever the case may be, I took it and I didn't say anything, and they were tweeting about it all the time. So this was in December. The stream that they did about me to quite a decent number of audience. This stream happened on December 19th of 2020. So we're quite a while away from it now, actually. Stay quiet about it. I didn't tweet nothing. I didn't say nothing. I let people leave that left. Never went to them and said anything. There were some people that by ride or dies, they were like, listen, we know you. We've been around you. Like we maybe you did make a mistake, but we trust you enough to say that like you ain't that type of person. So there was a whole bunch of that, and I was really just gonna let it go. But what just kept happening was, bigger streamers, because they, obviously as streaming goes, and they were doing a
Yeah.
podcast situation. So,
Oh
you're
wow.
probably my actual first podcast since this whole situation.
Oh wow.
Um,
I'm honored.
they, no, you're good. I love you, Tommy. I know you. So it's all love for you.
The
They kept
same.
going for
I'm
like the
feeling the
bigger
same, my friend.
fish. They kept, and which is as you should. Like as you start gaining more popularity and you can bring on bigger streamers, you should, or content creators for your case, you should. That is nothing wrong with that. But I knew that I could tell that in the background, they kept this situation alive.
Instead of
And
just moving on.
because partnered streamers were now making tweets, subliminal tweets about me, partnered streamers.
Oh jeez.
I never got to partner. Maybe there was a time where I could have, but I never got there. Multiple of them. And now we're in January and we're still hearing things from there. And I've not said anything. I've not tweeted a single thing. Nothing. February comes around, still going on. It's like they're riding this high horse of they took me down or something, off the fact that I just never did respond.
And I'm probably for
March.
sure the increase of viewership just boosted that probably even more,
Yeah, we shout out to them. It was for the viewership their way, but then March comes around, so we're like in March 2021, and they're still cooking it. They're still saying things. There's still these subliminal tweets, and so at some point I'm like, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. You've heard a lot of my friends because you were trying to call them out on a live situation to try to make things up or rat me out or whatever, there were actually people very bothered by that. And more than anything, whatever you did to me is whatever you did to me. The fact that you made a few of my very close friends very uncomfortable and continue to do so with your actions for months, that's probably the number one reason this albums came out. Number two is just because one of you is a rapper. One of these two people is a rapper.
Oh
And
wow.
has in fact been on one of my songs before that you can find on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that on the Miss Mayhem project. And it's like, all right, you know what? Let's go bar for bar then. At some point, you've tweeted enough and twisted enough facts that, like, okay, we have this, we have these screenshots, we have these receipts. I have messages from, like I said, my delivery was wrong, but the concept of some of the things that I was saying was weird business wise. I think that they were doing was not wrong. And I have those receipts. And it was like, okay, I have these screenshots of these things that y'all are doing or saying or whatever the case may be. And then I have, the screenshots of what my friends feel about you. At some point, it came to it like, if they released the messages that I sent to one of them, that was the improperly delivered and could have been seen as cringe and any of that. I was like, if they released that and it damned me, I was like, then at some point, it's like I'll release my side too, and we'll both go down together for all I care. But I didn't want to do that. I really didn't, because I did have love for them. I do think they were a really good streamer duo. I think they were new to the whole thing. There's mistakes we made. I've made a ton of mistakes. I obviously made a mistake there, and I will continue to make mistakes in my life, and I will understand. So it was that situation where, like, I have to accept responsibilities for my punishment or for things that I've done wrong, but I can't allow myself to be ran over to an extreme that I don't think I should be. So pretty much 90% of all the other voices you hear on that stream or are on that album are actually streamers as well, interestingly enough.
Oh, that's cool. I
And
didn't know that.
so I branded this as like a streaming project because this was at the time where Twitch was, UMG, Universal Music Group, and Twitch were having their music issues and they're copywriting everyone. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a album that streamers can play on Twitch and they don't have to worry about copyright. And so that was kind of the initial branding of it, or marketing, coming out in like early March. And invited a whole bunch of streamers that I was cool with, to some that are actually rappers themselves, to rap on it. And you hear those on those. And then some that aren't rappers, but you hear their voices. They do cameos or whatnot on it. And so I'm like, all right, so how do we do this? We have to have this balance of like good music, good listenable music, but we have to get this message across. And I was like, all right, how do we make people really interested in it? Because in my sphere now, where there was kind of this split of people that really knew me went over to one side and people that knew me went to another side, and then now we've both met new people. How do we add this like real mystique about it going on? And so it was, let's make this really aggressive, all red, just, I don't want to say evil looking, but like,
It,
villain looking, bad guy looking, profile picture with just the name exposed. Because at that point, you could take it anywhere, right?
right.
And I did this really cool marketing with it that I think worked out really well. Where the day before the album dropped, which was in April of 2021, all the creators that I had on it, all these Twitch creators or whatnot, I had them just the day before post the album cover. And all it did was the title of the song that they were going to be on, and then at Bankshot on Twitter. At the time, Twitter. Now it's X.
X.
And I was so surprised how much that was getting like retweeted and blown up, and people were like, what the heck is this? Like all over like the internet. Because again, I've had like background success. I've had like success actually going and talking to people and whatnot, but I've never had like a viral internet type thing. And not to say that this was viral, but in the grand scheme of things, of where like it's hard to move products, especially creative product,
Yeah.
podcasts, Twitch streams, music online, to have like over 1,000 engagements in a single day of like retweets and likes and comments all combined, it was like, wow, all right,
Yeah, we're doing something.
people are interested. What is this, right? Because we didn't really say that like the album was tomorrow, or what the album really was, outside of like this was just kind of be a streaming album. And all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, here's just this villain looking picture coming out. So um and so we did, and I am extremely proud of that album and for what it was. It had some bangers on it, things that you
It
could go
definitely
on
did.
stream, especially live, right? And I'm live with the game. Yeah, and I'm live. It's been years, so and I'm live with the game. About to be wild, hearing screaming out my name. Watching pull up to the scene. Ties bird, skirt, skirt, coming out with flames. I can't skirt anymore. I'm too old. But that's like literally like, if you're going live, that was the song you played, right? And then we
Yeah.
had a song called Pause on it that was really kind of bouncy and fun. Um, we had a lot of good tracks on it that were bouncy and fun, but in between all of it, we had some really serious tracks that I put my subliminals in, that I think everyone close to the situation would understand, but also where, if you knew nothing about the situation, but at some point in your life you had felt, I guess, the weird energy and then the backstabbing that followed after it, through it, you would get that. And I kind of wanted to play the anti-villain role. That's why the very first song on the Exposed album is called Bad Guy.
I like that
Um,
song.
I know, where I'm like, you could pay me as a bad guy. F it, here's my signature. Since y'all want to know my business, let me grab my business suit. Uh, Suit and tie always wins or loser ties. I always pay my dues and ties. And for that, I lose some ties. Now they want to boo and cry and say I'm the bad guy. Well, let's see if I'm everything they advertised. Like, all right, this is what you said about me. This is what we're going with. Um, and then kind of said at the end, I'll show that I'm just a good guy playing the antagonist. And you know I never called out their names because they never actually called out my name on it. And I think I called out like the insecurities and the fact that they're lies, and challenging them to say something about me. But throughout the project, and even on the song Exposed, especially my name, I admitted, like, I don't blame y'all for being upset with me for the situations that come. I don't blame y'all for wanting to cut yourselves off from me. I'm not mad at y'all for that. I fully accept that I made some mistakes along the way. Uh, but keep playing with my name, and I don't care what you drop about me, because what I will drop in retaliation will be much worse.
Right.
And I've always stood on that. And there was kind of the side of me that was hoping, because one of them was a rapper, that they would respond with their own project or their own music. Because I was like,
Yeah.
let's go bar for bar. Because at the end of the day, even if we both go down, people love good music, especially love good back and forth. That's just good
Right.
that's just good music. That's just good content. It's a win for everyone. And we all go down, it's a win.
People are always talking about diss tracks.
They do, and it was like I've had people come at me, and I've never really had like anyone that I felt was like super that good. I think I'm very good as like a rapper, because especially on my stage and kind of local artists, you have a lot of rappers that'll be like, oh, I'm creative, and they come up with these wild metaphors and lyrical word plays and such like that. And it's like, you listen to the music and it's like, yeah, sure, you've come up with these big brain lines and all that, but like nobody is understanding it. Nobody just wants to put that in their car and listen to it. Or it's the really just kind of mumble trap music and all that. And if you enjoy that, you enjoy that. Have fun with it. I enjoy some of it myself. It's just not my type. I
It's not
spit
your go-to.
rhymes. Yeah, it's not my go-to, and I could never rap like that. I have a lot of wordplay in it, but it's more, I don't want to say simplified, but it's digestible. I don't go for the biggest rhyme schemes or the longest words, biggest words, or like the most like I'm 4D out of this world that a lot of local artists do. So this guy, much respect to him, credit to him for what he deserves, because he is a good rapper, and I knew that if he wanted to come back, he could probably come back with something very good, and that does a win for everyone. And I was kind of hoping for it, but they never did respond. And weirdly enough, everything got very quiet after that album. And I think what really got people quiet right now, and we're 4 years past that album coming out, I have nearly 3,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is huge considering that I haven't really dropped any projects since the wrapped up Christmas project later that same year.
Yeah.
But God Bless Them, which was like the big song on that project that I didn't expect it to be a hit. That was
Yeah.
like my song to them. Like, this is the warning shot. Like if you really want to go down this road, if you want to keep this up, then keep it up and we'll go forward. And God bless you for it. Or we stop it right here now. Fortunately, we can stop it right there now.
I will say that is my
But
favorite song on the album.
it's wild. What is the number on there right now? Like, it's insane. I have a song called TikTok that came out in 2016, 2017. That was actually like a song that did really well in strip clubs. For whatever reason, on the north side of America, I'm from New Orleans. I don't go to the north, but we were being played in Michigan and Illinois and all over the place up there. We had some New Orleans strip clubs play us, but that was like my one hit beforehand, and we did really well. But this was like not like a club song or party song, or it's like one of those songs you just don't expect. It was just meant to be the message song. But right now we're averaging 282,839 monthly listens on this one song.
That's crazy.
4 years, 4 years later, and it's kind of like, I make a lot of references in that song, and 2 days afterwards, like they were still tweeting about the album. They were tweeting about the album for a few days afterwards, and those were, that was a song that they were like making fun of some of the lyrics on. But it's like now we're here 4 years later, more than 4 years after the situation. They rode that wave of like dissing me on a Twitch stream for like 5 months for however many little subs and bits that they got for it.
Yeah.
I'm still getting money off of just that song alone every month, 4 years later. And so realistically, all right, you made your move, you made your marketing move, you made some profit. I got mine. No one said anything since. It's all respect. It's all love. They probably don't feel the
Yeah.
same way about me. I don't wish their downfall. If I did, I really, really would have went for it. I think that they were really needed in the space that they were needed for. I think they were giving a product on Twitch that really needed to be. So it would have been a shame to actually like try to drag them down. It was not my intention.
Right.
So if for some reason they see this, because maybe this is the first time I'm really telling this side of Exposed, so maybe they want to see this just for own curiosity. Power to y'all. Y'all did amazing. I don't know if y'all still doing what y'all doing. Much love. Awesome job to what y'all doing. But y'all messed up. I messed up, and yeah, as long as everyone got what they wanted, awesome. Because I'm still getting mine.
We got an awesome album out of it. Awesome.
You did. I don't know. I haven't dropped anything because I don't know how to match it. Like, that's the problem as an artist. Like, you always have to get better. You always have to get better, or you have to find a different side of things. And it's like, I really just haven't found that yet.
I did want to ask sometime during this interview if you did have any future plans for any new music dropping.
So I yes. The short answer is yes. And maybe this year. I record music regularly. Some of them are just remixes. Some of them are just kind of stupid freestyles. Nothing that's like album worthy. And mixtapes don't do that well anymore. Unless you're Lil Wayne. There's been one project that I've kind of been sitting on actually for over a year now, because I was never really like a relationship type guy, especially in my line of work as a pilot. It's always kind of considered like a marriage killer career. You're always really busy. You're over here, there, and everywhere at odd hours. You miss out on a lot of important moments in life.
Yeah.
Wouldn't trade it for the world though. Love this career. And But I did try to actually get into relationships after the Exposed album, and or not necessarily because of the Exposed album, but just afterwards. And as I was like growing up in different spots in my life, like I tried within a few relationships more than I had ever had probably in like my entire life beforehand. And normally in my life beforehand, I was always the one dumped. And where I think in every one of these situations, I actually walked away from them, which is a very tough thing to do. I never
Oh, it is.
realized how tough it is, because it's like you really do care for them. You really do have like some sort of love for them. So when I say love, it's not like that love of like lovey-dovey love. It's just like in a general human sense, like I got love for you. Um, and man, that drew out a lot of emotions out of me. And of course, emotions make music and content and whatnot. And so, I made the project, but I've never made a project like surrounded around love. Like there is a song
Yeah.
on Exposed called For Me. It was a freestyle about a girl who actually kind of left me over this situation because she was a much bigger streamer than all of us that I'm talking about right now. And she
Yeah.
was getting some flack for the situation. And so to save her kind of content, she decided that
It's kind of
maybe I
separated.
shouldn't be around this guy. Yeah. So she left a few weeks after that situation. But there was a song called For Me Freestyle on there that was kind of lovey dovey, but it really wasn't either, because I was kind of like saying, I know I'm like this hard stuck guy, but that I can have my own emotions too and go for it. Really more of that than like lovey dovey. Um, Whereas like the project that I've kind of sat on actually addresses her not by name, inspired by situations, stories created through the situations by her and from the others after, out of respect, because I'm not trying to cause issues with my exes.
Yeah.
So like inspired by, but no one's mentioned by name, whatever the case may be. But it was a much slower album, you know, um, a bit more experimental. I rap fast. I'm very monotone voice. I don't know if anyone's tell about this podcast. My voice does not really go that much higher or lower than what it already is. And so, like, I don't know. It's not bad. I just don't know if there's enough on it, enough substance on it that's fun, because what was so great about Expose was you had the bad guy, you had the God Bless Him, you had the Fade Away in the cyber style, but in between you had Live and Pause and Nasty and Bragging Rights. You had the good mix of what's really fun and then what's really serious. And on
Yeah.
this project, it's just slow. It's just slow at the current moment, and I don't really know how to like pick it up. And so I don't know if I'll ever like come to a point where I work on that, touch it up, or ever release that project. But it's a possibility, I guess I could say. Other than that, I
This is
don't I don't
your
really know what's next
this
music
is your
wise, but I know something
certified
will
lover
happen.
boy.
Yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. I don't respect the drink. Yeah, my certified lover boy mixed with honestly, never mind. Actually, though, Wayne is obviously one of my biggest inspirations, as to a lot of rappers my age. I'm nearing 30. I'm getting up there. My rap career is at the very, very end. There's no hope for me of fame, and that's
Hey,
okay.
hey, 2
Um,
Chainz, he became 2 Chainz, what, like, in his late 40s, early 40s, something like
not
that?
not late 40s, but
Was
in his 30s. Now he was on New
30,
Players
okay, okay.
Circle. He was on New Players Circle for a while, which group, and I forget the name of the other guy that was in New Players Circle, but Two
Was that
Chainz
when he
did kind of
was,
become his own entity and respected lyrically more in his 30s. That is true.
yeah,
But he was already signed somewhere and up somewhere. I don't
true.
have, unfortunately, when I was associated with convict music, they weren't really looking at me as a rapper. And, random business side of things that I don't know if anyone would care about, but maybe if you cared about Akon side of things, great. They had T Pain, they had Dollar Dollar. Dollar Dollar got shot, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um, T Pain was having contractual issues with Convict Music. Was supposed to go over to Young Money, Cash Money. That didn't happen. Apparently, got sabotaged in some way by Convict Music. So then T Pain went and go do what T Pain did. They had your boy Cardinal Official, Kobe O'Donis. I can't tell you what happened to Kobe O'Donis. None of us really remember. He came out with What You Got. Always talk about what you got. Hey, always talk about what you got. Hey, and we ain't seen him since until he featured on Beautiful. And since then, we definitely ain't seen him since. Cardinal Officials had a pop up moment here and there, and I think he's always been a convict, but never one of Convict's major artists. No one's ever heard of Your Boy. I know he was signed there. No one's going to name a Your Boy song, but at the same time, Your Boy could turn around and says no one in general is going to name a Bankshot song. So touche. Then they had the Red One and Lady Gaga era, which was like their last like really big push. But Lady Gaga's now gone. Rock Nation or Rock City, which was with them. I'm pretty sure those are the ones that made the Broadway song. We're broad, we're broader than Broadway. They did the rap part. They were on Convict at the time. Made a whole diss album against Akon called Darker Clouds just to get off. And then, Akon moves over to just doing more Afro soul music in Africa. He doesn't even mess with American artists anymore, realistically.
Yeah.
So, that was my one chance. And they kind of like just said, screw America at some point.
Yeah.
So, random history facts of what happens inside of a label, ladies and gentlemen, if that's something you're intrigued in.
Oh, that is cool to hear about.
But, yeah, I promise something soon. Music soon of some sort, yes.
Well, I am certainly looking forward to it, and I hope our audience is looking forward to it.
I hope so. Listen, if my music is there to enjoy, if it's not for everyone, no music ever will be. So if you enjoy it, by all means, have fun with it. If you don't even want to give it a chance to listen to, respect. There's a whole lot of great music out there to support. So a lot of creators out there to support. From my understanding, my camera's opposite of me. So my good friend Tommy here, our very own host, gave me some insider news earlier. I don't know if you would like to give that insider news.
Sure. Well, like Bankshot said earlier, we met on Twitch. I was streaming at the time, and I will be making my grand return to streaming.
Yeah, pop your drink, whatever you drink out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever you're sipping on.
I got the good doctor.
And honestly, I want to do it like consistent, like full time.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think you're gonna stream at?
I know I'm going to do Friday nights. I'm off every Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking like I want to do like maybe like a Friday at 8. Yeah. And then do like since I work night shift, do like a degenerate like Saturday at midnight. So it's easier because I can do stuff during the evening, and then I just got all night to do whatever I want,
Have you retired from Valorant like me? Are we both gone from Valor?
Yes, and I have to say, when I play Valorant, I think me and Bankshot both like playing Duelist, and this guy was always so supportive.
You were Raze and I was Neon.
Yes.
I'm back on Overwatch. They changed some things up. It's pretty good. Well, we have to as well as get you on Dare on Air, which is a game show that I have on my show. And in fact, I know some of your friends have been on it. We've invited you on it, but I know the scheduling has never worked. We're gonna have to find a way to get you on that show. And I don't know, maybe people that work with you on What the Creator, we'll have to drag them along with you and ask trivia questions of your guests and such.
That'd be cool. I actually just interviewed a Twitch streamer that I know in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, listen, I don't know if you've recognized when I say the Fat Juice. He was on a couple of my songs. I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, listen, this is a podcast I'm doing. He's gonna check out this episode. But he's also a great rapper / Twitch streamer. And I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, you got to come on the show and one up me.
Hey, it's more than welcome to. And I have actually tuned into some of his YouTubes thanks to you.
That is true. I have seen you in the Fat Juice's thing. He doesn't curse as much as I do. He doesn't curse at all. So I forgot to ask if I was allowed to. I'm trying to like myself out.
I
I'm
just
from
go
New
ahead and
Orleans again. I'm sorry.
I put explicit on every episode just to be safe, like because I asked like my hosting website for my podcast is like, do you want to put explicit or so? Yeah, just go ahead and put it on there
Oh
just
yeah,
to be
oh
safe.
yeah. And if you listen to Exposed, I did not put a clean version of the album. I usually do put clean versions of the albums out, but Exposed does not have a clean version. It was raw. It was like this is
Yeah,
what it is. You gonna listen to it like it is,
yeah.
motherfucker.
This is how it's meant to be listened. This is how it's
Hear the serious tone of my voice.
yes. Well, it was great having you on, man.
Tavi, it was a pleasure. Thank you for letting me ramble on and on and on because I know I go on these very long soliloquies.
Oh, it was great.
Incredible vibes for you for here. Nothing but the best for you and your podcast. I will be tuning in and supporting and promoting and hopefully this episode benefits you in a positive light.
I appreciate that very
If
much.
everyone that I talked about that I just now comes after your podcast, though, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, I'll make my own diss album. No, I'm
Hey,
kidding.
yeah, let's go. I'll bring you on the next one. If I gotta make a response diss track, like you're the can. I'll let you lace the intro. Like how Omega on the first like very first voice you hear is not mine. It's the deep voice that like life has its funny turns.
Yeah.
With all epic voice, like we'll bring you in and do the same thing. Where we'll get you to say something epic, and then
The Muffin Man.
the Muffin Man. You can't run from the Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin Man? You know?
You heard it here
Well,
first. We already had the album photo earlier from the still.
yeah.
That needs to be the song. What these fools
That'd be
thinking?
perfect. You point to the album.
What these fools thinking?
I'm going to make that the thumbnail.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. The title's either what these fools thinking or the truth of exposed for this podcast. I don't know.
I like
But
that.
either
The
way,
truth of exposed.
a pleasure talking to you and allowing me to share my story, the true story 4 years later. And yeah, maybe it'll be a diamond in the rough one day. Maybe if I do become a famous rapper or something, I don't know.
I got the inside scoop.
There you go. Yeah. You truly did.
Well, it's been great, man. And who knows? Maybe we could do some streams sometime in the future.
Oh, we
I can hop
will.
on
That's
some Overwatch.
that's not a maybe. That you on, Tommy. We love to have you over anytime, Tommy.
And I would love to be on the show, the game show. I've watched all of them so far.
Hey,
And
listen,
I do enjoy them. They're really cool.
We gotta get you and your cousin on. I know that for sure.
And we gotta get him streaming. We gotta get...
That might be a tougher sell.
I know. I did talk him into Helldivers. So that's the start.
He has all the qualities. He's very funny. Ducky, if you're listening, you're a funny guy. Stream. You'd do better than all of us.
So yeah, people are just like drawn to him. Some I don't know. He just has like this charisma.
He does. The man does not understand how much power he holds. He's too humble about it.
He really doesn't. And when I tell him that, he's like, no.
Well, cheers to anyone who's watching. If you're not watching, if you're listening, I'm holding up my Dr. Pepper.
I got my
I don't
water.
know if I can make the clink sound. There you go. There's your clink sound. Hopefully it was of good quality.
Cheers. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will catch you next time.
Deuces.